Okay, we need to talk about Luis J. Gomez, because he just threatened to sue me if I run a story on him. Well, I guess you can consider me sued. So 3 days ago, I get an unsolicited message from Luis J. Gomez telling me he'd sue me and that he's very serious. Now, the reason this happened is because of the Eric Andre story that included some photos of Eric's fraternal twin brother, Derek, that many pointed out are actually photos of Luis. Well, that's actually because people frequently mistag these two in photos because they look almost identical. And this is actually how Luis got his start in comedy. See, Luis found that he was frequently mistaken for Derek, and one time Luis rolled with it pretending to be Eric Andre's brother and accepting an open mic invitation. Now, it didn't take long for Luis to realize that comedy audiences were even more gullible than the people who booked him, and this is where he starts building his elaborate scam. So Luis starts building an audience using Eric Andre's success, and it's not long before he's also built many small shell corporations to move money around. From Gas Digital to Legion of Skanks to Lewis's Cookies Incorporated and even Lewis's Fine Denim Company are all fake businesses. Now, this may surprise you, but even Legion of Skanks the show is a scripted scam. They use the latest algorithms to detect what topics they should talk about and write out every piece of dialogue. And that's why whenever there's a guest who's new to the show, it's very awkward because you're actually seeing the 6th or 7th take of this scripted conversation. And even the crowd in the back of the show are all paid actors. You see, Luis is smart and he knows optics matter most, so he pays these extras to pretend to love the show so the viewers at home believe the show is a hit, when in fact it's all just smoke and mirrors. So Luis is desperate to keep this information out of the public eye, and that's why he went live the other night trying to stitch together some story of how he knew Eric Andre and his brother.
I knew Eric Andre way back in the day, way before I really got started, way before he got started. I was likely the first person to put Eric Andre on stage in New York City when he first moved from Florida,
attempting to distance himself from his house of cards. And because Luis has been so successful faking a show that's supposed to be unscripted, he even talked Tony Hinchcliffe into doing the same thing. You see, when Kill Tony started, it was stilted and awkward on all accounts. But Luis came in and retooled the show to be closer to Legion of Skanks, which means every bucket pull comedian is actually planned out and scripted by Kill Tony's team. Don't believe me? Well, check this out. On Kill Tony recently was the quote-unquote random bucket pull Chloe LeBranche, who has an okay set and says it's her first time ever trying stand-up. Well, if you just look her up, you'll see she's actually a successful working stand-up comedian. And if you go to Legion of Skanks' TikTok page, you'll see they only follow 41 people, and one of them is Chloe LeBranche. So you're telling me that a show that's been successful for 10 years follows this first-time open micer but not Bobby Lee? It's clear Chloe is one of Luis and Tony's many plants. And recently, a Kill Tony NDA has been circulating the internet, and it shockingly claims that by signing the document, you agree that sharing any info about Kill Tony's inner workings will result in a 5-year prison sentence. So you can see why these young comedians refuse to speak out. Everyone knows what Luis is willing to do to keep this financial charade afloat. Now, one of the more devious things Luis has ever done is his ongoing taunting of a poor middle school in Jamaica. And this story is bizarre, so get ready. So everyone knows Luis grew up poor and estranged from his very rich father. And apparently Luis's rich tycoon dad had donated the funding for a school for the blind in Jamaica for a full decade. But when Luis's father died, according to local Jamaican law, Luis himself got to dictate the rest of the funding. So he immediately pulled all the money out of the school, robbing these children of a future. Now, if that isn't bad enough, Luis goes back to Jamaica every year to spend the money he took from them right in front of their faces. It truly is a sick, sick thing. Riding jet skis around and gorging on margaritas while blind children get burnt by the sun. And while Luis might be known for his out-of-hand pranks by his friends like the time he dosed Bert Kreischer with MDMA, it's just now coming out that he pulled this same cruel stunt on Justin Timberlake in the Hamptons. Not to mention the infamous competition for Skankfest tickets that saw multiple participants ingest human feces for free tickets, only to find out they were simply being pranked and mocked by Luis. So whether it's drugging celebrities, mocking their deaths, or abusing his own fan base, Luis is always creating controversy just for the monetization. Now, Luis is sure to come for me legally, but I had to speak up for all the disabled children whose futures are ruined. Luis J. Gomez, you're a total bitch. Now, once again, I've put myself in danger making a report, so you guys have to do the right thing and spread this information. Remember, the trolls work for NBC. The only channel you can trust is TV.